Welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel, everyone. This is Rich making another video on XRP today, as usual. So wherever you are in this vast planet, I hope you're all having a nice day today. We are going to discuss XRP. This is the one-day chart once more. The current price is $2.49. For XRP, it was again another bad day. However, if you look at the current week, we are simply moving in the wrong direction. You know, everyone said we're so back when we were at $2.65. We've been waiting for this time. You understand that there is only 15 cents between where we are now and $2.65. In only a few minutes, XRP can make that move. We can observe how quickly XRP's price fluctuates at the moment. It travels quickly by dimes, 20 cents, and perhaps 30 cents. You would have known that it would take a full month to close such a gap if we were back in the bear market of 2022 and we had a decline like this, but that is no longer the case. Regarding XRP, nothing has changed. Right now, it still appears to be quite positive. And if you look at the past year, you know, I was warning folks back here that a breakout would eventually occur when XRP was at 50 cents. But as they say now, you're wrong. I was completely mistaken back then. Nothing is being done by XRP. The coin is dead. However, as history demonstrates, XRP emerged. Additionally, you will still profit from this cycle whether you are purchasing now at these levels or at a higher price. XRP is going to leave a lot of people behind whenever it eventually starts to actually break out, as I don't really believe the breakout has started yet. When it does, it will happen very quickly. However, you will undoubtedly profit from XRP. And take a look at Bitcoin once more, below 110K. And for that reason, we're currently down. We continue to monitor Bitcoin. Additionally, Bitcoin immediately pulls back whenever there is a global war or market volatility. I don't think it's a good store of value because of this. It all boils down to the second. We're going to impose tariffs on China immediately. Even the president can say that when Bitcoin hits red, the entire market follows suit. All I want is for Bitcoin to break out as soon as it does. That will indicate that it's time to go. We'll keep dipping with Bitcoin until then. We haven't had a red October since 2018. I had high hopes that October would end on a positive note, but that didn't happen. And because this cycle seems to be going on forever, I believe that many people are currently very frustrated with it. Everyone wants to start making money right now, but it will happen. Since no one can predict with certainty when XRP will break out, it's just a question of whether you'll be around when it does. We have never witnessed a cycle as erratic as this one. 1 million drips are equivalent to 1 XRP. 3 of the biggest bank's executives are met by Ripple in a private boardroom with a view of Canary Wharf. It was late afternoon in London. Set around the table were representatives from Ripple and senior executives from 3 of the biggest banks in the world. Every CEO in that position should be aware of the ramifications, see a reduction in profit margins, and above all, move from days to seconds. It's not theoretical. Major financial institutions throughout the world have already been impacted by this technology. However, this article compliance even cites the one that is preventing all of this. Everyone has a cross-border plan in place. You can have various types of, however, any of these bankers that have a conversation with Ripple understand that it is the way of the future. It all comes down to quick, affordable, and safe real-time payments, and everyone desires that. That's what their clients desire. However, because that's what people will be purchasing in the future, let's return to 1 million drops. In the same manner that users currently purchase SATs, they will purchase drips of 1 XRP. People will purchase bits of XRP here and there, in addition to bits of Bitcoin. Because it will cost them money, it will get expensive. It cannot move the world's money at low prices. One item is said by Vincent Van Code. I hope you now know that you should never trust reports that claim that this is a moon date. Look, although I have never asserted a date, I am certain that XRP will increase in value more than anything else. Even with the bank announcement of the XRP ETF clearance, the market dynamics in cryptocurrency are still complicated, and in the absence of regulation, a tiny number of whales, acting as expert traders, will manage and coordinate these trades. They don't want a market that is consistently positive. They need to pump and dump on longs and shorts as their cash out will be delayed. Purchasing several tokens with VIP access through Coley is one approach to win. Another is to acquire a token and sit on it like Bitcoin. Whales will always triumph. You will only lose if you decide to play house. Bitcoin whales can spend billions of dollars. You are not able to compete. Additionally, he is discussing market manipulation. However, the whales eventually lose, and the market goes completely crazy, and he's not incorrect. But I believe we are currently preparing for that. Every time Bitcoin appears to be ready to take off, this is what we've been waiting for. What occurs is that its price drops again, dragging the rest of the market along with it. People immediately say, this run is over, which rattles out a lot of people at the same time. They sell their cryptocurrency at a loss. Will the price of XRP surpass $4.50 in November? November is already on everyone's mind. What is actually required is the reopening of the government. The market will become more stable as a result. The ETFs must be authorized. That might actually move the price of XRP. However, ISO is also going live this month. I've been waiting for this for a very long time, because I believe ISO will be more significant than most people realize. For this reason, I spread my investments over a variety of ISO tokens. I'm referring to HBR, IOTA, ALGO, QNT, XRP, XLM, and XDC. Most likely, I overlooked one, ADA. Well, after that, there were a few more that I believed will eventually be compliant, like LCX, Nexara, DAG, and Energy Web Token. There must have been some I overlooked. Another is Casper. With the development of AI, I believe that will be quite significant. However, I'm eager to see if ISO will be useful to us in the early going. If Escrow cuts the supply of XRP by 20%, the new price may be $66.67. Thus, they are discussing burning XRP. Ripple will never burn any portion of that escrow. To start, I recently made a video in which I discussed the reasons behind the 100 billion XRP. Examine the market for derivatives. That should tell you everything you need to know. The derivatives market is worth quadrillions of dollars. However, the price would not drop to $66, even if Ripple burned the tokens. What would happen is that the price of XRP would probably grow by 10% to 20% in the near future. However, it would immediately descend to our current location. We witnessed that, and I thought it was fantastic that so many people were discussing declassifying the 1700 contracts, including NDAs, and disclosing the escrow's owners are the two options available to Ripple in order to behave, as like it does not control more than the supply. They will give the IMF carte blanche to determine the price of XRP if they go with option number 1. I think it's already finished. After that, make it the new ESDR. The escrow is pre-allocated regardless of what occurs. I concur. People immediately claimed that they couldn't sell the escrow since you had to wait till the tokens were opened, even though I believe the escrow is already spoken for. However, according to David Schwartz, they could sell the tokens' rights, in which case they wouldn't be able to be used until the unlock date. Thus, it is possible that this is already taking place in the background. However, I believe that a larger portion of that escrow will end up with the World Bank, the IMF, and the BIS than with the United States. I believe that all of the world's central banks have already endorsed it. Businesses increase their XRP treasuries. I believe that this is where the true value will be found. Ripple Schwartz's thoughts on Swell's upcoming trends. The $1 billion XRP treasury of Evernote. What impact will the Ripple Swell event have on XRP? First of all, I believe that Ripple Swell will make some extremely significant statements. However, we already know that some businesses are establishing XRP treasuries and preventing XRP from being used for its intended purpose. I believe that in the upcoming months, there will be an even greater spike in that. More XRP treasuries will be produced in the future. Another corporation with a significant quantity of XRP has been exposed, as you can see here. Morgan brought notice to Virtue Financial's SEC filing in an X post, which revealed that the company has